Let's move to intervention. Intervention puts you between. Intervention places you in harm's way, between a suicidal subject and the means of carrying out his plan. Your priority in intervention must always be, first of all, your own personal safety. Don't try to be a hero, and in doing so, become a victim. Call for appropriate help. There's a threat assessment tool that I've used for many years that I find very helpful. How do I assess how dangerous this situation really is? It's called Slap Dirt, kind of a weird name. But each letter has a meaning. Specific plan, lethality, availability of means, proximity of help, that's SLAP. And if there's been a previous attempt, then dirt, dangerousness, impression, rescue, and timing. Specific plan. Has your friend thought about how, where, and when he would commit suicide? Ask the question. You're talking about this? Ask. A plan that is specific is much closer to being carried out than one that's only general. Somebody says, I don't know how, but I'm going to do it. Or if somebody says, I'm going to overdose on vitamin C, I'm not too worried about it. Lethality. How deadly is the plan? If someone says they're going to shoot themselves or jump from a freeway overpass, they've got my full attention, vitamin C aside. Availability of means. Does your friend have or can he easily get what he needs to carry out his plan? Yeah, I'm going to shoot myself. Do you have a gun? No, but my dad does, and I know where he keeps it. It's under his pillow. Proximity of help. How close help is can indicate how determined someone is in carrying out and succeeding in this plan. If somebody attempts suicide outside the emergency room, it was probably to get attention. But if somebody goes out in the woods to hang themselves or to take drugs, it's probably very real. If there's been previous attempt, then we look at dangerousness. How dangerous were the previous attempts? Is there a pattern of para or pseudo-suicidal attempts that were deliberately unsuccessful? And is your friend more determined now? Impression. Whatever the actual danger might have been, what's your friend's impression of how dangerous her previous attempts were? If it wasn't serious, wasn't really very dangerous or lethal, but she thinks it was, then that has bearing on the current threat. Rescue. How did your friend survive previous attempts? Did he use less than lethal means, or were there friends or other people who came to his rescue? And timing. Some people attempt suicide expecting to be rescued. We have a neighbor who lived at the end of the street, across the street, and she was separated from her husband. She had the kids. She attempted suicide, not attempted, she completed, by hooking up a vacuum hose to her exhaust to her car in the garage, running it into the interior of the car, and she died of carbon monoxide. We learned later, she was expecting her husband to come and pick up the kids at a particular time. If he had come at that time, she would have lived. But she forgot that he had a dentist appointment. And so he was an hour later. She died. The kids in the house nearly died, and they were brain affected from that attempt. All right, there we go. In suicide intervention, do not leave the person alone. Don't overlook the verbal and behavioral signs. Don't sound shocked. Just take what they're saying and ask questions about it. Don't interrupt. That will increase irritability. Don't make promises you can't keep. I promise you'll be all right. Don't argue with them. That just, again, raises the emotional level. Don't debate morality. There's a place for that, but this isn't the time. Don't remain the only person helping. That is, get help, one way or another. Don't agree to keep this a secret or cover it up. Do pray without ceasing. I don't mean say to the person, I'm going to go pray about this. But while you're talking, be praying. Do remain calm. As hard as it is, panic leads to mistakes. Do be patient. Do not rush a suicidal person. Slowing down his thoughts and behavior buys more time. Do help to define the problem accurately. Do I understand this correctly? Rephrase thoughts for clarity and context. Focus on the central issue. Stay physically close to the person and secure the surroundings. You don't have to make a big deal out of it. But if you're kind of standing around the kitchen and there's a big knife block over here, you might move over to the table and say, let's sit down and let's talk about this. Do emphasize the temporary nature of the problem. Even if they have a terminal illness diagnosis or a chronic disease diagnosis, that's temporary. It's not going to be that long. Do listen very carefully and respond appropriately to what they're saying. And if suicide, in your judgment, is imminent or is in progress, if you've interrupted it, call 911. Don't hesitate. Call 911. This was posted on Facebook by one of my firefighters just 10 days ago. She says, for the first time last night, I called 911, fearing a loved one might take their own life after they sent a text saying they were contemplating death and doing something stupid. I'm usually the one responding to those emergencies. So it was strange to be the one calling it in. When I respond to those types of calls, I pray to be given the words that will calm the person, bring them comfort, and have some sort of positive impact. Last night, I prayed that whoever responded would find those same words to speak to my friend. I'll be honest. I hesitated, and this is key. I hesitated in calling because I didn't want this person to be mad at me, thinking I overreacted. I came up with a million other reasons why this person may have sent the text and wasn't actually going to follow through. In the end, I made the call because I knew that if there was even the slightest chance that there was truth in the text message, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't do anything. It really is better to be safe than sorry. If you call 911, your friend may be mad at you. You can explain it. You can get past it. But if you're afraid of your friend being mad at you and they do follow through, there's no getting past that. Don't hesitate. Call. Let somebody else evaluate.